Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm sorry for being late, but as Rafał said, I've just attended a reception at the Speaker's house and wanted to stay to listen to the Speaker's speech, which was very moving and was mostly about Ukraine. And I talked with many ambassadors, including Ambassador of Georgia and other allies, ambassadors from Africa who are very concerned. So this is a very, very tragic moment. As some of you know, I arrived in London 2 weeks ago, exactly on Monday, 14th of February. So I've been here for 2 weeks. And the first person whom I met in London was Vadim Pristaiko, ambassador of Ukraine. They told me it's completely illegal to meet anyone before going to the FCDO, to the Foreign Office, but I said, oh, he's my friend, I'm going to see him for breakfast, and after meeting Ambassador Pristaiko, I'll go to present my copies of my letters of credence. So now I'm officially here, and it's my great pleasure to be here today at the invitation of the Polish City Club. I am even more honored to be here at this event aimed at commemorating a great Pole, a dedicated scholar, and someone whose work for Polish academia was of the utmost importance, Professor Zbigniew Pełczyński. It is thanks to him and his Oxford College hospitality scheme for Polish scholars that I spent a term in St. Anne's College, Oxford, in 1988. The memory of this unique man who helped develop the careers of many Polish scholars and public intellectuals is influential to many. I am glad he will be remembered also as an honorary member of the Polish City Club. When I look around the room, I'm glad to see the Ukrainian-British City Club represented here, and thank you for this moving speech, as well as our colleagues from Czechia and Lithuania. This is the best sign that regardless of where we are around the world, EU nations stand together with our Ukrainian brothers and sisters. The past few days have been, I am sure, for all of us, both tragic and surreal. With today's technology, we are able to witness it all basically in a live format. For me, it's really moving because, as you know, the Embassy of Poland is exactly in the same building where it was in 1939. So when I was reading all these cables after arrival, I was sitting at the desk of Count Raczyński, who was Polish ambassador to the UK in 1939 to 1945. He was also president of Poland in exile, so this is, for me, like a very moving experience. During the past few days, we have seen things that Europe knows only from history books. The shelling of residential dwellings, ruthless attacks on hospitals, blatant violations of human rights. Russia has, in the past days, shown its true face. Vladimir Putin has done what we in Poland have been warning about for decades. He has blatantly violated the basic rules of international law. Driven by phantasmagorias and resentments, he ruins the life of a peaceful and developed nation. There is, however, a silver lining. The unity and determination demonstrated by the West give us hope that in response to Putin's Iskanders, MiGs, and rocket launchers, we have an even more powerful weapon, our unity and solidarity, forged into economic sanctions and military assistance. The effects of the sanctions can already be seen with the value of the ruble plummeting to a record low level and the stock market being frozen. Although these decisions will have serious consequences also for the economies of Western countries, the EU countries, the United States, the United Kingdom and Canada, acting jointly, decided to exclude Russian banks from the SWIFT system. This will harm their ability to operate globally. Apart from the direct impact of the sanctions, we should also note the deterioration of the climate and the willingness of Western, in particular British companies, to cooperate with Russia, such as BP selling its shares in Rosneft. Finances is where we can hurt Russia the most. I strongly believe that the applied sanctions will continue to put a visible strain on the Russian economy, which in time will force Putin to reconsider the real cost of this aggression. I am, however, glad that NATO and European unity goes far beyond economic sanctions. In the past days, Western countries have been providing the Ukrainian army with weapons and financial aid. Poland has been unconditionally accepting refugees of this terrible aggression in the hundreds of thousands. It's now more than 200,000 refugees from Ukraine in Poland. There have been thousands of gestures of goodwill, with Polish citizens rallying to collect and distribute food, blankets, and anything else that people escaping the conflict may need. A similar heartwarming attitude is visible in other countries in the region and in the whole of Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, Poland, as Ukraine's neighbor and a country which shares deep historic ties with Kiev, feels a special responsibility for the fate of our Ukrainian friends. Let me reiterate what the Polish government and president have been saying over the past few days and weeks and months. We strongly urge the EU to grant Ukraine a candidate status, giving Kiev hope for EU accession. We'd also like to see one day Ukraine as a NATO member. Let the symbolic incorporation of Ukraine into the West be Vladimir Putin's true legacy, not one he would have hoped for, but one he is surely working towards. Today, here, we all stand united with Ukraine. Let us continue to do so. Sława Ukraini!